G'day and welcome to another big edition of the RDFNL Netball Show. Thanks to our friends at ONTIME Delivery Solutions. I'm joined by the reigning, defending, Unsung Hero Award winner from the Star Weekly, Tara Murray. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now let's talk about the night where you stole the show. It was all a bit about you. It was a bit of Tara Murray time. And falling into second place behind that was our Ryan Medal winner for 2018, young Chloe, who had a fantastic season to date, had a great week last week, winning one of the awards of VNL. I think it was an MVP, and then she backed it up with a Ryan medal, and who knows, she might have a grand final premiership medal around her neck this week.
As you mentioned, it's obviously, for those who don't know, it was Chloe Wilson of Macedon who took out the Ryan medal. She was a runaway winner. We looked at all the scores that came up throughout the night. She was leading throughout the night ahead of Rhiannon Vining from Rockbank, who ended up finishing second overall, which was a massive achievement for her. But we'll talk a little bit about Rockbank and their success on the night a little bit after. Obviously, Chloe dominated. We've seen her as the last 2-3 years as one of Macedon's star goalers. I think they missed her last final series, and we saw how important she was to that Macedon lineup. And as you mentioned, she took out the Victorian Netball League Division 1 MVP award on the Sunday, and then took out the Ryan medal on the Wednesday night. So it was a big 4 days. I think not many people would win one league best and fairest, let alone two in 4 days. So she was pretty shocked by that. And she was one of 5 Cats players named in the team of the year, so they absolutely dominated, and we've seen that they finished the season undefeated. They're in the grand final, and their players have been rewarded as well. I
can imagine one of the key conversation points you may have even had with her, but if you said to Chloe, how does that make you feel, winning 2 league best and fairest in as many days? She would say, I would happily trade them in for a premiership medals, which
we didn't quite have that conversation, but she was pretty shocked. But look, I could imagine that.
That's pretty standard, isn't it?
It is. Obviously, she missed the finals last year when she was sick. The year before, they finished runner-up. So she's been here those last couple of years and just missed out, and it's something the Cats have set their mind on for the last 12 months since that finals disappointment last year. Finals has been focused for the Cats.
Definitely right there. Now we're going to start our review from the bottom up. We're going to talk about probably the match of the day, realistically, on paper, and it was the first one of the day in the under 9 or 19 and unders. It was a game that went to extra time, and Woodend Heskett toppled Macedon.
It is. I think it's either the second or possibly the third final in this final series that has gone to extra time, and we've had a couple of 2-point goal results outside of that as well. So this was a cracker, and you had Woodend Heskett versus Macedon. I think Macedon was through to last year's grand final, and they fell short to Rupert's Wood. And then you've got Woodend Heskett, who has been the massive improver in the 19s.
Well, I think it's their second finals campaign ever.
Second or third finals campaign ever, and it's been the last couple of years. And they've built a really young, talented group, and a lot of those girls are playing in the A-grade competition as well. And for the first time ever, we're seeing Woodend Heskett have a side in the netball grand final. So that's showing. We've spoken a lot about Rockbank and what they've done this year. This is massive for Woodend Heskett as well. They've got their 9 teams through to a grand final. You have Brittany Bowen, who I think finished second in the league best and fairest. Sarah Duff, who was named the league young gunner player, who won't play, unfortunately, in the grand final after hurting her knee playing football. But you've got Tara Burnup's another one who we've seen play a lot of A-grade, including in a grand final a couple of years ago. So there is a lot of talent in that group, and we're seeing it come through, and it's really pleasing to see Woodend Heskett get through there. Obviously, Macedon has a lot of talent there. They had all 4 of their sides play in either preliminary finals or have made it straight through to the grand finals. So they've got a lot of depth in that club. But you look, the Hawks in the end, scores were 23 apiece at the end of regular time before the Hawks came out in extra time and ended up winning 33-27, dominated that extra time. And it's a cracker of a result.
Magnificent performance there. Certainly gives them a lot of momentum heading into the grand final this week. C-grade was an absolute thriller between Diggers and Macedon, and to have a 1-goal result was fantastic.
Well, I said there was a lot of close ones. Here's another one.
Spot on.
This is a low-scoring match, 17-16. You probably look pretty low-scoring for a final, and the weather wasn't too bad on Saturday.
I think it was fine.
Yeah, so obviously you look at that. You've got Diggers Rest, who are through to a second straight grand final. They ended up winning a close one. In the end, just probably a little bit more experience. Cats would be disappointed. That's obviously their second prelim final they had dropped for the day in the end. But you've got Burrows, who are sort of built. We've seen the success of their Bs and Cs the last couple of years, and now their Cs are through to a second straight grand final. Sarah Carroll, I think, is coaching them again, taking them through, and it'll be interesting whether they can actually get the job done this year.
And they also had a best and fairest winner in there as well. One of the stars in the court, I think. Her name escapes me, but I think it's Leah.
It's Leah.
Leah, yeah, she was fantastic in the centre and obviously winning the league best fair. She's like a little pocket rocket, and she would have been a standout on the day and will thrive in the grand final environment.
Exactly, and that's what you got. They do come up against the experienced side in Rupertswood, but they would have learnt from 12 months ago, and I think they've probably brought a little bit more experience into that side. So if they can build on what they did 12 months ago against Rupertswood and say, yep, we're back in a grand final, let's give ourselves a chance. They will consider themselves and think they can get the job done against Rupertswood.
B grade was probably a little bit more one-sided over the course of the day between Rupertswood and Diggers Rest, 11-goal margin.
Look, I sort of expected Rupertswood to get through. They lost their first final to Macedon, the qualifying final, and then have had to come through the hard way. I don't think they'd finished on top of the ladder, and I don't think they'd lost many matches. So I think everyone sort of expected that Rupertswood B grade side to win back through to the grand final, and it was sort of what the case was with that one. Diggers Rest obviously played in last. It was the prelim final was last year's grand final, but I think obviously Rupertswood, we've seen them. I think they're going for a 5th straight premiership this year. No surprise to see them back through to the grand final.
And the A-grade game, I know, again, I've already used this storyline before, but there was a bit of cool runnings about it. In all due respect to the great team over at Romsey, but if you wanted to see a good feel story, it was like cool runnings. You wanted to get behind Rockbank. The Jamaican bobsled team, they've gone through a lot of hardship. The mighty Rams, of course, as we highlighted on the show a few weeks back, they did lose their coach just on the eve of the finals, but they just still kept winning. And unfortunately for them, and fortunately for Romsey, it was a 13-goal result for the Redbacks.
Look, and as I think I wrote in this week's paper, Rockbank's netball this season, especially their A grade, is the story of the year of the netball competition.
It is.
And possibly the whole league as well. And
Can't
I would
fault
say,
that.
and that you look at it, not only have they played finals for the first time, they won 2 finals, no one expected them to. You have Rianne finish second in the league best and fairest. You have Rebecca Hicks makes team of the year. She also took out the Western Water Player of the Year, which was voted by the coaches. So you look at that, you go, the coaches are recognising what they're doing, the umpires are recognising what they're doing, they're getting the results. And look, speaking with Gab down there, he said there's a lot of excitement generated around the club. It's not just around the netball, it's around the football. People are getting in touch, wanting to be involved in this club, and it's what this club's needed. Obviously, they'd love their football to be thriving as well, but they've had 3 sides in netball finals, and it's got this club up and going again.
And let's also pay credit to the coach who, unfortunately, for whatever circumstances, departed prior to the finals taking place. All the work that she's done as well.
It is, and obviously it's a tough situation, and I think Lizzie would still love to be there and would have loved to have guided her team through to finals, knowing what work she'd done to put them together. But in the end, unfortunately, they fell short on the weekend to a better Romsey side. And I think we're sort of going to see this grand final we expected 12 months ago, which didn't come to fruition. Now you got Romsey, they got out to a jump early on the weekend, and once they were in front, they were up by 9 goals at halftime, and then they sort of switched a few things around. They gave a couple of their players who were on the bench an opportunity, because that might come in handy come this weekend. And look, in the end, it was Chelsea Ross who was the dominant player again, 38 out of 39 goals. And personally, I consider her very unlucky not to be named in the team of the year. I thought she absolutely dominated for Romsey and won so many games with that side. Steph Symes was the other standout on the weekend. She did make team of the year, but I thought Chelsea was unlucky not to be in that team as well.
Yeah, spot on there. As we will turn our attention to the netball grand final previews a little bit later in the week. Thanks to our friends at OnTime Delivery Solutions. Thanks for jumping on board, Tara. We'll catch up later on in the week.
Thanks for having me.